stared at the old radio equipment in front of him and sighed. The night shift on the colony ship New Dawn was always boring. Outside the windows, space looked the same as it always did. Black, empty, quiet. "You look tired," said. She sat across from him, drinking her third cup of coffee. Her eyes had dark circles under them. "I am tired," said. "We both are. When was the last time we had an interesting show?" Laughed. Define interesting. Last week, someone called in to complain about the food again. The week before that, we talked about water recycling for 2 hours. Groaned. This is supposed to be entertainment radio. We're supposed to make people laugh and feel good. Instead, we're putting them to sleep. The colony ship had been traveling through deep space for 3 months. There were 5,000 people on board, all heading toward a new planet to build a home. Most days were the same. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat. His radio show was supposed to break the routine, but even he was getting bored. "Wait," said. She sat up straight. "What about that segment idea you had, the funny one?" Thought for a moment. "Oh, Messages to the Void." "Yes, that one, where you send jokes into space." Had almost forgotten about it. A few weeks ago, he had pitched the idea to the station manager. The concept was simple. They would broadcast silly messages, jokes, and stories into deep space on open frequencies. It was pointless, of course. No one was out there to hear them, but it might be fun. "Minyu approved it yesterday," said. "I forgot to tell you." Minyu was the chief communications officer. He controlled all the broadcasts that went out from the ship. He was a serious man who rarely smiled, but even he had liked the idea. He said it would boost morale. "So let's do it," said. "Right now we have nothing else." Looked at the clock. It was 2 in the morning ship time. Most people were asleep. "Okay," he said. "Why not?" He adjusted the microphone and switched on the broadcast system. The red light blinked on. They were live. "Good evening, night shift workers and insomniacs," said in his radio voice. "This is, and I'm here with, tonight, we're trying something new. We're going to send messages into the great void of space." "Because we have nothing better to do," added. "Exactly. So, let's start with something fun. Let me tell you about Earth's old vampire legends." Raised an eyebrow. "Vampires, really?" "Yes, really. Back on Earth, humans used to tell stories about creatures that drank blood. They were called vampires. Pale skin, sharp teeth, lived forever. They hunted humans at night." Leaned back in his chair, getting comfortable. "So here's my message to the universe. If there are any cosmic vampires out there, any blood-sucking aliens looking for prey, I want you to know something important." He paused for dramatic effect. "Humans would be terrible prey, the worst you could find." Started laughing. "What are you doing?" "I'm serious, think about it. Modern humans are full of caffeine. We drink coffee all day. Our blood probably tastes like burnt beans." "That's true," said. "I've had 4 cups today." "And our sleep schedules are terrible. We stay up all night staring at screens. We eat processed food full of chemicals. We take medications for everything. We're basically walking poison." Was warming up to the topic now. "Plus, we're stressed all the time. Stress hormones everywhere. Any vampire trying to drink human blood would probably get a stomachache." Was laughing so hard she had tears in her eyes. "Stop, stop, my sides hurt." But kept going. "So this is my official invitation to all the space vampires out there. Come to Earth, try to hunt us. I dare you. You'll regret it. We taste bad, we fight back, and we'll probably give you indigestion. Humans are not worth the effort." He switched off the microphone and grinned at, "There, message sent into the void." "That was ridiculous," said, wiping her eyes. "And also kind of brilliant. People are going to love it." The next morning, the segment was the talk of the ship. People stopped in the hallways to tell him how funny it was. The station manager said ratings had gone up. Even Minyu cracked a small smile. For the next 3 days, life went back to normal. did his regular shows, made her coffee. The ship moved through space toward its destination. On the fourth day, Minyu appeared at the radio station. His face was pale. He wasn't smiling. "We need to talk," Minyu said. His voice was quiet. Looked up from his notes. "What's wrong?" "Your broadcast, the vampire joke, something happened." Set down her coffee cup. "What do you mean something happened?" Minyu pulled out a data pad and placed it on the table. 3 days ago, you transmitted that message on open frequencies, right? "Yes," said. "That's what we agreed on, random frequencies sent into deep space." "Well, something responded." The room went silent, felt his stomach drop. "That's not possible." "I thought so too, but look at this." Minyu played an audio file. There was static at first, then a clear voice. It spoke in perfect Korean. "Challenge accepted. We arrive in 30 cycles." His hands started shaking. "This is a joke, right? Someone on the ship is messing with us." Minyu shook his head. "I checked. The signal came from outside the ship, far outside. It originated from a point approximately 40 light-years away, and it came in on the exact same frequency you used." Stood up. "What does 30 cycles mean?" "I think it means 30 days, Minyu said. 30 solar cycles, 1 month." Couldn't breathe. His stupid joke about vampires had gotten a response from something out there in space, something that spoke Korean, something that was coming. "We need to tell the captain," said. "I already did," Minyu said. "He's calling an emergency meeting. You need to come with me, right now." As they walked through the ship's corridors, his mind raced. He had been joking. It was supposed to be funny. Messages to the void weren't supposed to get answers. But something had answered. And it was coming. In 30 days. The ship suddenly felt very small and space felt very big. Had spent his whole life thinking humans were alone in the universe. Now, he knew they weren't. And whatever was out there, he had just invited it to come find them. The joke wasn't funny anymore. The captain's meeting room was full of worried faces. Sat in the corner, feeling like he wanted to disappear. Everyone kept looking at him. Some looked angry. Some looked scared. All of them knew this was his fault. Captain stood at the head of the table. He was a tall man with gray hair and serious eyes. He had been in the military for 30 years before becoming captain of the New Dawn. Nothing usually rattled him, but today his jaw was tight. "Let's go over this again," said. 4 days ago, radio host broadcast a joke into space. 3 days ago, something responded. Today is day 4. We have 26 days until they arrive. Is that correct? Minyu nodded. "Yes, sir. The message was clear, 30 cycles. We believe that means 30 Earth days. And we're sure this isn't a hoax, not someone from another ship playing a prank." "We're sure," Minyu said. "The signal came from deep space. The technology required to send it is beyond anything humans have. Also, the response came too fast. 40 light-years away, but the signal only took 3 days. That's impossible with our physics." A woman at the table spoke up. Her name was, and she was the ship's. She studied alien life, though until now there had been no alien life to study. "If they can send signals faster than light," said, "then they have technology far beyond ours. That's either very good or very bad for us." "I'm betting on bad," said quietly. "Looked at, tell me exactly what you said in your broadcast." His throat felt dry. "I made a joke about vampires, old Earth legends. I said if any space vampires were out there, humans would be terrible prey. I said we'd taste bad because of caffeine and processed food. I was trying to be funny. And you invited them to come here." "I said I dared them, but I didn't mean it. It was a joke." Rubbed his face. A joke that might have doomed us all. The room fell silent, felt sick. 5,000 people on this ship, families, children, and he had invited something dangerous to come find them. "We need a plan," said a man at the table. His name was the chief engineer. Can we outrun them? No, Minyu said. If they can travel from 40 light-years away in 30 days, they're much faster than us. Can we fight them? Shook his head. We're a colony ship, not a military vessel. We have some defensive weapons, but nothing serious. If they're hostile and advanced, we'll lose. Then what do we do? Asked. Wait and hope they're friendly. We prepare, said. We study everything we can about Earth's vampire legends. Maybe there's some truth to them. Maybe ancient humans encountered these beings before. Straightened up. That's actually a good idea. Many Earth cultures have similar legends, creatures that drink blood or life force. What if they weren't just stories? For the next week worked almost without sleeping. She gathered every vampire legend from Earth's history. European vampires, Chinese, Philippine, African ads, Indian. Every culture had stories of something that fed on humans. The patterns she found were disturbing. All the legends described similar creatures. Pale, predatory, fast, strong. They avoided sunlight. They drank blood or consumed life energy, and they were almost impossible to kill. Look at this, said during another meeting. She showed them her research. These legends span thousands of years and hundreds of cultures. They're too similar to be coincidence. You think these creatures visited Earth before? Asked. Maybe. Or maybe they visited other planets where humans spread out. Either way, our ancestors encountered them and survived to tell the stories. But how did they survive? Asked. That's what we need to figure out, said. The days passed slowly. 26 days became 20, then 15, then 10. The whole ship was tense. People stopped sleeping well. The hallways were quieter. Even children seemed to sense something was wrong. On day 28, Minyu's equipment detected something. 3 ships had appeared at the edge of their sensor range. They're here early, Minyu said. Ordered everyone to their stations. Red alert, all civilians to safe zones. You're with me on the bridge. The bridge had a large window that showed space outside. For 2 hours, nothing happened. The 3 ships just sat there, not moving. Then a message came through. This time it was a video transmission. The screen flickered to life. His blood went cold. The creature on the screen looked almost human. Almost. Its skin was pure white like bone. Its eyes were completely black. Its face was sharp and angular, too perfect to be natural. When it smiled, its teeth were pointed. It looked exactly like the vampires from old Earth stories. Greetings, humans of the new dawn, the creature said in perfect Korean. Its voice was smooth and cold. I am of the, we received your invitation. Stepped forward. I am Captain. That broadcast was not an official invitation. It was entertainment, a joke. A joke, smile widened. How interesting. You broadcast into the void, daring us to hunt you, and now you call it a joke. We meant no disrespect, said. We didn't know anyone was out there. Ignorance is not an excuse. They have existed for 10,000 of your years. We have traveled to 1,000 worlds. We have fed on hundreds of species. And never in all that time has any species been so arrogant as to invite us to hunt them. Whispered two, fed on hundreds of species. Oh no. Continued. Your broadcast amused us, so we came. Now we will see if your claim is true. Are humans really terrible prey? We shall find out. Wait, said, what do you mean? We propose a traditional hunt. For 30 days we will take volunteers from your ship. We will feed on them. If we find humans unsatisfying, we will leave you in peace. If we find humans delicious, we will mark your species for full harvest. Every human world will become our feeding ground. Felt the room spin. This couldn't be happening. His joke, his stupid joke, had brought real vampires to humanity's doorstep. And if we refuse, asked, then we will take what we want by force, and we will not leave any survivors. Looked at his crew, saw the fear in everyone's eyes. They were trapped. 5,000 people against 3 ships of advanced predators. How many volunteers? Asked. One per day. 30 days, 30 humans. That is fair, yes. And you promise that if you find us unsatisfying, you'll leave all humans alone. Do not lie. We are hunters, not liars. You have our word. Shoulders sagged. We need time to discuss this. You have 1 hour, said. The screen went black. Couldn't stop shaking. 30 people. 30 people would have to sacrifice themselves because of his joke, and if the found humans tasty, everyone would die. Grabbed his arm. This isn't your fault, you couldn't have known. But knew better, it was his fault, all of it. And now, somehow, they had to figure out how to survive. The meeting lasted exactly 58 minutes. Refused to force anyone to volunteer. If people were going to sacrifice themselves, it had to be their choice. I'll go first, said a voice from the back of the room. Everyone turned. A woman stepped forward. Her name was. She was 40 years old with short black hair and calm eyes. She had been a soldier on Earth before joining the colony mission. You don't have to do this, said. Someone has to go first, said. And I'm trained for dangerous situations. If this works, if we can learn something from what happens to me, maybe it helps the others. Stepped forward. If you're going, let me examine you before and after. If you survive, I need to understand what they do to humans. Okay, said simply. The hour ended, appeared on the screen again, informed him that they had a volunteer, seemed pleased. Send her to airlock 7. She will be returned in 24 hours. Walked to the airlock alone. She refused to let anyone come with her. I'm a soldier, she said. I know how to face danger. The airlock door closed. Through the window, they watched a small ship approach and take her away. For 24 hours, no one on the New Dawn slept well, stayed in the medical bay with waiting, brought them coffee every 2 hours. No one talked much. Finally, the ship returned. The airlock opened, stumbled out. She was alive, pale and weak but alive. Rushed to her with medical equipment. Can you hear me? I can hear you, whispered. I'm okay, just tired. They took her to the medical bay, ran every test she could think of, had 2 small puncture wounds on her neck. Her blood volume was lower than normal. She was dehydrated and exhausted. But something else was wrong. Noticed it in the blood tests. This is strange, muttered. What is it? Asked. Her blood chemistry is all over the place, but not from what they took, from what was already there. Look at this. Caffeine levels, synthetic vitamins, preservatives from processed food, stress hormones. She has traces of at least 15 different medications in her system. Managed a weak smile. I take pills for allergies, and I drank 3 coffees before I went. Did they say anything? Asked, though, about how you tasted. The one who fed on me made a face, said. Like something was wrong. It didn't say anything, but it looked uncomfortable. Hope sparked in his chest. Uncomfortable. You made a vampire uncomfortable. Maybe your joke was right, said quietly. The next volunteer was a man named. He was a medical researcher, young and smart. When he volunteered, he had a strange look in his eyes. I have a plan, told privately. Trust me. Before he went to the airlock, swallowed every stimulant he could find. Caffeine pills, energy drinks, synthetic supplements. He took medication for headaches, allergies, and anxiety. He loaded his body with every chemical substance available in the medical bay. You're going to make yourself sick, warned. That's the idea, said. If I'm toxic to myself, maybe I'm toxic to them. When they brought back 24 hours later, he was unconscious but breathing. The medical team rushed him to intensive care. But something else happened. The who had fed on him returned to their ship walking strangely. Through their sensors, Minu detected unusual readings from the ship. Elevated temperature, erratic movements. I think made them sick, Minu said. Examined carefully. His body was trying to process all the chemicals he'd taken. It was dangerous, but he would survive. When he woke up hours later, his first words were, "Did it work?" "You made them sick," said. "One of them is definitely not feeling well." Smiled weakly. "Good, humans 1, space vampires 0. Word spread through the ship. The volunteers kept coming, and they all had the same idea now. Load up on everything that made human biology weird. Drink coffee. Take medications. Eat the most processed food available. Make themselves as unappetizing as possible. They kept their word. They took 1 person per day, and every day they seemed less pleased with their meal. On day 7, contacted the ship again. He looked annoyed. "Your blood is strange," said. "Bitter, polluted. What have you done to yourselves?" Kept his face neutral. "We are modern humans. This is how we live. Coffee, processed food, medications. It's normal for us." "It is disgusting." "You're the ones who wanted to hunt us," said. His eyes narrowed. "The hunt continues. We have 23 days remaining." But could see it. They were struggling. They had expected easy prey, sweet blood, simple creatures. Instead, they got walking chemistry experiments. On day 10, made a breakthrough. She had been studying all the data from the volunteers. She called and to her lab. "I figured it out," said. "Why we're toxic to them." She pulled up charts and graphs. "The feed on life energy, right? They consume blood, but it's more than that. They absorb the biological essence of their prey. For thousands of years, they've fed on species with clean, natural biology, simple chemistry, pure blood." "And humans aren't pure," said. "Exactly. We're adapted to Earth, which is a crazy planet. We eat things that would poison other species. We consume caffeine, which is literally a plant toxin. We take synthetic medications. We expose ourselves to pollutants and adapt. Our bodies are designed to process toxins and keep going." "We're naturally toxic," said slowly. "Yes, and they aren't adapted to that. When they feed on us, they get all our chemicals too. It makes them sick." "So my joke was actually true?" asked. "Humans really are terrible prey." "You were more right than you knew," said. Leaned forward. "Can we use this, turn it into an advantage?" "Maybe," said. "But we need to be smart. We have 20 days left. We need to prove to them that we're not worth hunting, that every human everywhere is like this." "What do you suggest?" asked. Smiled. "I suggest we show them just how weird humans can be." Over the next 3 days, prepared a presentation. She gathered data on human biology, human behavior, human persistence. She compiled everything that made humans strange in the galaxy. On day 13, she requested a meeting with. The leader agreed, probably out of curiosity. Stood before the video screen, confidence in her voice. "You came here to hunt humans, to see if we're suitable prey. I'm here to tell you that we're not." "We will decide that," said. "Then let me help you decide. Let me show you what humans really are." And began her presentation. She showed them human endurance, how humans could run for hours, outlasting faster prey through sheer stubbornness. She showed them human adaptability, how humans lived in deserts, tundra, jungles, and even space. She showed them human diet, how humans ate things that were toxic to most species and thrived. "We are persistence hunters," said. "On Earth, humans would chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. We don't give up. We don't stop. We're not the strongest or fastest, but we outlast everything." Watch silently. "And our biology," continued. "We're already polluted. Every human is full of chemicals. That's modern human life. You can't find a pure human anymore. We're all toxic." She paused. "You fed on 17 of us. How many made you sick?" Didn't answer. "All of them," said. "Every single one, because that's what we are. We're the species that survived by being too stubborn and too weird to kill." The screen went dark, had ended the call. But felt something had changed. They were listening now. They just needed to keep proving the point. 3 days passed without contact from the daily volunteer still went to their ship, and each one still returned sick and weak but alive. They said nothing about presentation. On day 16, everything changed. Appeared on the screen again. This time he looked different, not angry, not amused, something else. Thoughtful, maybe. Humans of the New Dawn said, "We have discussed your presentation. Your claims are bold. You say you are unsuitable prey. You say all humans are like this." "That's correct," said. "We are not convinced. 17 volunteers is a small sample. Perhaps they volunteered because they were already weak, already sick. Perhaps strong humans taste better." Shook her head. "Every human has the same biology. We all drink coffee, eat processed food, take medications. It's universal." "Then prove it," said. "They have a tradition. When prey claims to be unsuitable, we offer trials. 3 challenges. If you succeed, we accept your claim and leave. If you fail, the harvest begins immediately." Stood, what kind of challenges? Tests of your supposed advantages. Endurance, adaptability, combat. You claim humans are persistence hunters, prove it. You claim humans adapt to anything, prove it. You claim humans are warriors, prove it. And if we refuse? Smile was cold. Then we take what we want, all of it, starting now. Looked at his crew. Could see the calculation in his eyes. Fight now and lose, or accept the challenges and have a chance. "We accept," said. "Good, the first trial begins tomorrow. Choose 3 representatives. We will meet on the moon below. Bring supplies for 3 days. The screen went dark. The next morning 3 people stood in the airlock, had chosen carefully. The soldier for her training and toughness, the engineer for his problem-solving skills, and himself. Me had asked when told him, "Why me?" "Because this started with you," said, "and because you understand something important. You know how to think creatively, how to find humor in darkness. That's human too." Now stood with the others, wearing a basic environmental suit. They each carried a pack with water, food, and basic tools. Below them, the moon looked barren and cold. The ship landed nearby. 3 emerged, was with them. "The first trial," announced. "Endurance. On our world, prey flees and we chase. The hunt ends when the prey collapses. You claim humans are persistence hunters, so we will test persistence." He pointed across the moon's surface. "There is a beacon 100 kilometers that way. You will run. We will run. Whoever reaches it first wins. We will not feed for 3 days before this trial. You will have no advantages." Laughed. "You're going to race us, after not eating for 3 days. They can survive for months without feeding," said. 3 days is nothing." "Okay," said, "let's run." The race began at dawn. The 3 humans jogged at a steady pace. The 3 sprinted ahead, moving impossibly fast. Within minutes, they were out of sight. "They're going to win," said between breaths. "No," said, "they're sprinting, we're packing, trust me." For hours they jogged. The moon's lower gravity helped, but the terrain was rough, rocky, filled with craters. The humans fell into a rhythm: jog, breathe, drink water, repeat. After 6 hours, they saw the first. It was sitting on a rock, breathing hard. "Are you okay?" called out. They looked up surprised. "You're still going?" "Of course," said, "we pace ourselves." They jogged past. 2 hours later they found the second. It had stopped running entirely. "How?" it asked. "How are you still moving?" "Humans are built for this," said. "We evolved to run for days." 10 hours after starting, they reached the beacon. Was there, sitting on the ground. He looked exhausted. "You won," he said quietly. "I don't understand. We are faster, stronger." "But we're more stubborn," said. "That's the human way." The second trial was the next day. Adaptability. They dropped the humans in a cave system with minimal supplies. No food, limited water, random tools and materials. "Survive for 24 hours, said. "Build what you need from what you find. We will do the same." The cave was dark and cold. Water dripped from the ceiling. Strange plants grew in the corners. Okay, said, let's think, what do we need? Warmth, said, water, food if possible. They split up to explore, found mineral deposits and broken rocks, found the strange plants and realized some were bioluminescent, found a small underground stream. Within hours, they had built a simple camp, used rocks to create a fire pit and got a small fire going using friction, tested the plants and found some were edible, not tasty but safe, purified water using a makeshift filter made from sand and cloth. They even built a shelter using rocks and the environmental suits as a roof. When checked on them at the 24-hour mark, he found them sitting around a fire, eating roasted plants and telling jokes. The meanwhile had simply waited in meditation. They needed no fire, no food, no water. They were efficient. But efficiency wasn't the point. You didn't just survive, said. You created comfort from nothing. That's what humans do, said. We make tools, we adapt, we find a way. You turned a cave into a home. Give us long enough and we'd build a city here, said. Was quiet for a long time. I see. The third trial was combat, direct confrontation. One human against one, no weapons, just physical skill. Volunteered immediately. I'm trained for this. But everyone knew the truth. They were stronger, faster, and had been warriors for thousands of years. This was the trial they would lose. The fight lasted 30 seconds. They moved like lightning, fought well, but she was simply outmatched. She ended up on the ground, defeated but not seriously hurt. We win, they said. But smiled, do you? You lost, we are superior warriors. In a one-on-one fight, yes, said. But humans don't fight alone, we fight in groups. We watch each other's backs, we sacrifice for each other. During the fight, had noticed the arena had weak points in the structure. He pointed them out. If this was real combat, we wouldn't fight fair. We'd use the environment, work together, set traps. They seemed confused. That is dishonorable. That's survival, said. Humans don't win by being the strongest. We win by being the most creative, the most cooperative. Something unexpected happened then. A piece of the arena structure broke loose, falling toward an observer. Still on the ground and injured, threw herself forward and pushed the out of the way. The rock crashed where they had been standing. Stared at. You saved one of us. We are enemies. You're a person who was about to get crushed, said. Enemy or not, I couldn't just watch. That is irrational. That's human. Helped to her feet. His expression was unreadable. We have completed the trials, he said. You won endurance. You exceeded expectations and adaptability. You lost combat but demonstrated something we did not expect. What's that? Asked. Compassion toward enemies, cooperation, sacrifice. These are not warrior traits. These are not prey traits. I don't know what these are. Looked at his fellow. They seemed to have a silent conversation. Finally spoke. We need time to discuss this. Return to your ship. We will contact you soon. As the humans flew back to the new dawn, felt cautiously hopeful. They had proven something. They had shown that humans were weird, stubborn, and complicated. The question was, would it be enough? 2 days passed. The crew of the new dawn waited, couldn't sleep. He kept replaying everything in his mind. The joke, the response, the trials, had they done enough? On the third day, requested a meeting, not just with the captain, with everyone, every single person on the ship. This is it, whispered to, whatever they decided. The mess hall was packed, 5,000 people crammed into every available space. Children sat with their parents. Engineers stood next to farmers. Radio hosts stood next to soldiers. Everyone waited. The main screen flickered on, appeared, but he wasn't alone. Behind him stood dozens of other, their entire leadership guessed. Humans of the new dawn began. We have completed our evaluation. We have fed on your volunteers. We have tested your representatives. We have observed your behavior, and we have reached a decision." The room was silent, could hear his own heartbeat. "In 10,000 years," continued, "they have encountered hundreds of species across thousands of worlds. We have fed on creatures of every type, small and large, weak and strong, simple and complex. We understand prey, we understand the hunt." He paused, "But we do not understand humans." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. "Your biology makes no sense. You consume toxins as food and call it normal. You fill your bodies with chemicals that would kill other species. You are, as one of you said, walking chemistry experiments. When we feed on you, you make us ill. Every single one of you." His expression shifted slightly. Was that respect? Couldn't tell. "Your behavior is equally confusing. You are not strong, yet you run for hours without stopping. You are not the species we've met, yet you build tools from nothing and turn caves into homes. You lose in direct combat, yet you protect your enemies from harm." Another stepped forward. This one was older, with marks on its face that might have been scars. "I am elder," it said. "I have lived for 3,000 of your years. I have led hunts on 100 worlds. Never have we encountered a species like yours." "Are you going to kill us?" someone shouted from the crowd. "No," said firmly. "We are going to do something we have never done before. We are going to declare your species unsuitable for harvest." The room erupted. Cheers, crying, hugging. Relief washed over everyone like a wave. But raised his hand for silence. "Understand what this means. We will not hunt humans. We will not mark your worlds as feeding grounds. We will inform the other clans across the galaxy that humans are not prey." Y asked, "What convinced you?" "Several things," said. "Your blood is toxic to us. That alone is unusual. But more than that, you are persistent in ways we cannot match. You adapt to anything. And most strange of all, you show compassion even to those who threaten you." Spoke again. "They are hunters, we respect strength. But we have learned that strength takes many forms. Humans are strong in ways we did not anticipate. You survive through cooperation, creativity, and stubbornness. These are not prey traits. These are not predator traits. These are something else." "What are we then?" asked. "Survivors," said simply. "The kind of species that refuses to die no matter what the universe throws at them." A young stepped forward. It looked different from the others, less formal, more curious. "My name is," it said. "I fed on one of your volunteers, a woman who made jokes even while we were taking her blood. She laughed and asked if I wanted coffee to wash it down. I didn't understand. Why make humor in the face of death?" "Because that's what humans do," said, stepping forward. "We laugh when things are scary. We make jokes when things are bad. It's how we cope." "Fascinating," said. "I want to understand this better. With permission, I would like to study human culture, not as prey, as equals." Looked surprised. "That is highly unusual." "Humans are highly unusual," said. "We have hunted for 10,000 years. Maybe it's time we learn to do something else, to understand instead of consume." Considered this. Finally, he nodded. "Very well, if the humans agree, you may stay with them as an observer." Looked at his crew. They all nodded. "We agree," said. "Is welcome on the new dawn." "Then it is settled," said. "We will depart. We will spread the word. Humans are unsuitable prey. Any who wishes to hunt them does so against our recommendation and at their own risk." "Thank you," said, "for honoring your word." "The do not lie," said. "We are hunters, but we are also honorable. Your species has earned our respect, even if we don't fully understand you." The screen went dark. 2 of the 3 ships powered up and left. The third remained with a board. The celebration on the new dawn lasted 3 days. People danced in the hallways. Children played games about defeating space vampires. The cooks made a special feast with the most processed, chemical-filled food they could create, and everyone laughed about how terrible it probably tasted to the. Found himself back in the radio station. was with him. They were preparing for their first show since the crisis ended. So said, "What do we talk about? The listeners are going to have questions." Everything said, "We tell them everything, how a joke almost doomed us, how human weirdness saved us, how we're too stubborn to be prey." Appeared in the doorway. The young had been exploring the ship, asking endless questions about everything. It seemed particularly interested in human entertainment. "May I observe your broadcast?" asked. "Sure," said, "pull up a chair." Sat down, watching with intense curiosity as prepared the equipment. The red light blinked on. They were live. "Good evening, New Dawn," said in his radio voice. "This is and I'm here with, and we have a special guest. Say hello." "Hello," said awkwardly. "I am still learning human communication." "You're doing great," said. "So, want to tell everyone about what happened?" Took a deep breath. 3 weeks ago I made a joke. I broadcast a message into space, inviting vampires to come hunt us. I said humans would be terrible prey. He paused. Turns out I was right, but in ways I never imagined. For the next hour they talked. About the volunteers, about the trials, about how humanity's weirdness, our polluted blood and stubborn persistence and irrational compassion had saved them. Listeners called in with questions. Some wanted to know about culture. Others wanted to thank the volunteers. One person asked if they should stop drinking coffee now. "Absolutely not," said. "Coffee might have saved our lives. Drink more coffee, be more weird. That's the human way." As the show ended, felt different, lighter. The guilt he'd been carrying for weeks was still there, but it was smaller now. Yes, his joke had brought danger, but it had also proven something important. Humans were survivors, not because they were strong or fast or perfect, but because they were adaptable, stubborn, and too weird to give up. After the show, walked to the ship's observation deck. He looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there they were spreading the word. Humans are unsuitable prey. Don't bother. Joined him, thinking about making another joke. Laughed maybe, but I'll be more careful this time. "What would you say?" Thought for a moment. Then he grinned. "I'd say that humans have terrible fashion sense. Our clothes are ugly and impractical. If there are any fashion-obsessed aliens out there, I dare them to come give us a makeover." His eyes went wide. "Don't you dare." "I'm kidding, probably." They stood together, looking at the stars. The new dawn continued its journey toward their new home. Life went back to normal, or as normal as life could be with a curious vampire studying human culture. 2 weeks later, Minu burst into the radio station. He said, "We got another response from deep space." Stomach dropped. "Oh no, what did I do?" "You mentioned fashion," Minu said. "Something heard you." They responded with, "Challenge accepted. We will arrive in 40 cycles. Your aesthetic crimes must be addressed." Looked at. They both started laughing. "Here we go again," said. But this time he wasn't scared. If hostile aliens wanted to come fix humanity's fashion sense, let them try. They'd learn the same lesson they did. Humans were weird, humans were stubborn, humans were survivors. And most importantly, humans were absolutely terrible at being prey. The new dawn sailed on through the stars, carrying 5,000 humans, one friendly vampire, and a radio host who really needed to stop broadcasting jokes into space. But probably wouldn't.